Hello, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. My name is Mark Fears. Come on in and have a seat. So you doing all right?
I'm doing okay.
Well, good. Well, first off, let's make some introductions here. My name is Mark, like I said, and your name is?
Bob Wiley.
Bob Wiley. Well, Bob, I'm glad you're here today. So anyway, I know that the front desk had already got some other information from you, but let's go ahead and proceed. And I'm going to, ask you some of those same questions.
Okay.
Before we get started, though, I just want you to know that anything that you and I talk about today will be confidential, and anything that we discuss won't leave this room. You understand?
Yes.
Okay, great. But there's only a couple of things that I may have to report, and if you have any suicidal ideas, or hurting or harming anybody or anything like that. So if those are some of the things that you are feeling, I may have to, or I will have to, report that.
Okay, well, I don't.
Okay, well, good. Well, good. So I'm glad you understand that. So anyway, can you give me your address?
478
All right.
Winston Lane.
Okay. And also too, Bob, while we're talking, I'm going to write some notes down, so that'll help me remember, the things that we talk about. So do you have any problems with me writing notes?
No.
Okay, good. All right, so, and then your phone number, and
It's 270-555-6798.
okay, your date of birth,
7/14/81.
okay, your social security,
000125768.
all righty, thank you, Bob. How about your marital status? Are you married?
I'm divorced.
You're divorced, okay. All right, how about family members? You have any family members around?
I don't.
None at all?
My parents passed away, and I was an only child, and I was never really close to any of my cousins, and they live far away anyway. So the only person that I was close to here was my ex-wife.
Oh, I see. All right. Well, how about, are you employed?
I am. I work from home.
Do you work from home?
Mm-hmm.
All right. What's your occupation?
I'm a customer service rep.
Okay.
But I'm set up with a home office.
Okay. All right. You like doing that?
I do. I like doing it from my home.
Okay.
I wouldn't be comfortable in an office setting.
Okay. All right. I understand. So we'll talk a little bit more about that as we go along, okay?
Okay.
All right. How about emergency contact? Nobody that we can call in case of an emergency?
You could probably call my supervisor. I talk to him at least once a day.
All right. All right. Okay, great. So let's go into some of your medical stuff. How about your medical doctor? You have a medical doctor you see?
I do.
All right. What's his name?
Dr. Smart.
All right. You know his phone number by chance?
Hang on, it's in my wallet.
All right.
It's 270
Okay.
981-1113.
All righty. Thank you. All right, Bob. What about any other specialists or consultants you see?
I just got this referral from my last psychiatrist.
Okay.
And I've seen a few others before that, but that's it.
All right. So then you've been referred here by another psychiatrist then?
Mm-hmm.
All right. What was the reason for that referral? Really know?
I'm not really sure. I think he was leaving town.
Oh, he's leaving town? Okay. Well, I'm glad you're here, Bob. So we're going to do all we can do to help you with whatever problems you may be having. Sound good?
It does.
Awesome. All right. Well, so we got some of the general information from you. So the first thing I want to begin with is, what brings you here? What is the problem or situation that brings you to us today?
I just have trouble dealing with everything. I don't like to leave my home. That's why I work from home. I
Okay.
go out as little as possible. Thank goodness for the internet, because I can get everything almost delivered to the house that I need, except for coming out to like these appointments. And when I do, or when I try, I have to build up to it,
Okay.
work up to it, because I'm so anxious, and I'm hyperventilating, and my heart races, and I have trouble doing that. I don't like to get out of my routine. I don't like things to change.
Okay. All right. So it sounds to me like you deal with a lot of anxiety issues when it comes to, well, you said change or even leaving places that you're comfortable in. Is that right?
It took me several hours to get ready to come here.
It did. Okay. Can you explain what you did to prepare yourself to come here today?
Well, I got ready, but I got ready several hours early. And then it's just trying to mentally prepare myself to leave the house. I kind of talk myself into it and talk up to it. I have kind of a mantra that I go through before I do things like this. You know, I feel good, I feel great, I feel wonderful, to where I'm trying to lessen the anxiety and up my confidence to be able to do whatever it is that I need to do that's not comfortable.
All right.
And it gets harder and harder.
Okay. All right. So when you're doing or preparing yourself to leave, like you say, to come here, and how long did you say it takes you to build yourself up to
A couple of hours.
A couple hours?
For a new place.
For a new place. All right. All right. Well,
I have to think about all the possibilities, what might go wrong, if I'm familiar with the area that I'm going to, if I need, you know, like emergency medical assistance or something like that, you know, because sometimes I'll get out and my lips or my hands will go numb, and I'm, you know, hyperventilating or having issues.
okay. All right. Well, it sounds like you get real uncomfortable when you get ready to do things like this. But let me ask you a question. On a scale between 1 and 10, 1 being the least amount of resistance to 10 the most amount of resistance, you know, or intensity, I guess I would say, is where are you at when you get ready to walk out the door? After you went through your...
If I don't know where I'm going and I don't have my normal pattern or routine of it, I'm at a 10.
You're at 10, so you're feeling pretty extreme then. All right.
And even if it's a place that I'm used to going to, if I'm having to leave my house, I'm still pretty stuck at about a 6.
All right, so it doesn't decrease by very much then. You're always kind of on the anxious side. All right, let's see. All right, so what are some of the other symptoms? We talked about, you know, hyperventilating. You talked about numb lips, and you talked about the heart racing. And are there any other symptoms that you can tell me about?
Well, I don't like to touch things.
So tell me about that.
Well, you go out into places where other people have been, and other people have been touching things, so I try not to touch things, or I take tissues and things like that, just so I don't have to come in contact with things.
Right.
I don't so much mind responding to people, but I don't want to be close to them.
All right.
But I will, if they ask me a question, I'll answer.
All right.
Are you asking me about physical symptoms, or just anything?
Just anything.
Okay. Those kinds of things, maybe. I kind of get startled.
Yeah.
Easy.
So what things are you worried about if you come in contact with people or around people?
Catching disease, criminals. Anything could happen. Terrorists.
So you're really afraid of the outside environment, people.
in my home, I know what's going on.
Yeah.
I can control that. When I step out the door,
You have no control.
I have no control.
I understand. All right. Well, thanks for sharing, Bob. I know that this is kind of tough for you to talk about, but these things we'll address and talk about and try to work through. Let's see. How about your everyday thinking? Are you good with that? Do you know what time of day this is, what day it is, and
Oh yes.
so you're good with all that then? What is today?
It's September the 23rd.
That's right. Okay. All right. So if I were to ask you to give me what kind of mood you're in, what kind of mood would you be in right now?
I'm in a tight mood.
Tight.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Explain tight.
I just feel tight. My body feels tight. I feel tense.
Excuse me.
I want to breathe more, but I'm trying to keep my breathing even.
Okay.
I guess I just feel anxious.
Yeah. Well, it sounds to me like you've been given some tools to work with. You know, the breathing techniques and trying to keep these things under control. Is that what?
Yes, I have, and I try to do that, and sometimes it helps, and sometimes it's almost like it makes it worse because I try to relax and I end up more tense.
Okay.
And I don't know how to keep from doing that.
All right. All right. How about obsessions? Let's talk about obsessions. Is there anything that you might feel like you're obsessive about?
I don't think so. But I don't really like touching other things or other things that people have touched when I get out.
Okay.
Is that an obsession?
Yes, it could be. Any other?
No.
No? Okay. Have you ever experienced any delusions or hallucinations?
No.
No, so you don't have problems with that? All right. Well, so we talked a little bit earlier about suicide ideation, and you told me that you didn't. So in the past 30, 60 days, you've never given any thought about committing suicide or anything like that?
No.
No. Okay, that's good, Bob. That's good. How about homicidal ideation? Meaning, are you wanting to hurt anybody? Have you ever felt so anxious you wanted to hurt somebody or anything like that?
Not so anxious I wanted to hurt anybody, but I could hurt somebody if I had to.
You would?
I could.
You could?
Mm-hmm.
All right. What kind of situation would you have to be in to do that?
Like if I'm on the bus and somebody's on the bus with a gun. But I probably couldn't do that because they had a gun. I don't know. That makes me more anxious to talk about it.
Okay. Well, let's not talk about that at this point.
Okay. Because that's how I have to get home.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, let's talk a little bit more about any medical or behavior history. Have you ever had any other hospitalizations or anything that in that area to where you've had to go to the hospital to deal with your problems?
When I first started having these problems, I went a couple of times thinking I was having a heart attack.
Okay. So it's been to the point where you just physically feel like...
Mm-hmm. My heart races and it feels like it's pounding out of my chest.
All right.
But now at least I know that I'm not having a heart attack.
Okay.
I hope I'm not having a heart attack when it happens.
Right.
But I wait for a while. I don't go to the emergency room anymore. I wait to see.
All right. Okay. How about allergies? You have any food allergies?
No, no food allergies.
To medicines or anything like that?
No. Seasonal allergies.
Okay. All right. Are you currently taking any prescribed medications?
I taken what the doctor prescribed me before.
Right. So can you give me a list of what you're taking right now?
I'm taking Paxil and Zoloft, and I have Xanax,
Okay.
and then Valium sometimes.
Oh, so you're taking both of those.
Mm-hmm.
It must be pretty extreme then. All right. Any others?
No, the last doctor talked about changing something, but we never got to that point.
All right, Bob. So, taking these medicines that has been prescribed, do they seem to help? What do they do for you?
I'm still awful anxious a lot of the time, and some of those I take just when I'm really, really anxious, and it takes the edge off. But I'm still anxious,
Right.
like all the time. I just don't have a high peak.
Where you feel like you're having the heart attack?
Right.
Okay.
But I
Well-
still feel tight a lot.
Yeah. Give me some of the experience or the that gets you to that point where you actually peak. What's happening when you're peaking? Of course, we talked a little bit about when you leave the apartment.
When I leave my apartment,
Get on the bus.
yeah.
Any others? Anything else you want to?
Sometimes I feel like that when I talk to my ex-wife, but that doesn't happen often anymore.
Yeah.
If something different happens at work, and I think that I might have to go to a training, or if they're going to do a whole new process, and I don't know if I'm going to get it. I've been doing what I've been doing so long. Why would they want to change what they're doing? That makes it hard on me.
Yeah. So it sounds like you're a person that doesn't like change very good.
I don't. Once I learn something, I like to do it. If it's working, why change it?
Right. Have you ever looked at change maybe being a good thing?
It doesn't seem like it's ever been a good thing.
All right, well, we'll talk a little bit more about that later, Bob. How about your past psychiatric history? Of course, I asked you that, and you said, other than just going to the medical doctor or hospital have you ever been in a psychiatric hospital?
No.
No? Okay.
I don't want to be.
You don't want to be?
No.
How about outpatient therapy?
Like what we're doing now?
Yeah, I mean, you've been to other therapists.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, I appreciate all the information you've given me thus far, Bob. Do you have any questions for me at this point?
After this, how soon can you make me another appointment?
Well, we'll get with the secretary and we'll talk about that. How often do you think you want to be seen?
At least twice a week.
Twice a week?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We'll talk about that.
Okay.
We'll see if we can't start you off at twice a week and then go from there.
Because I made it here all right today.
I know you did, and that's good. All right. Well, so let's go ahead and continue on with some of these other questions we have. So let's talk a little bit about your history. When you were younger, has there been any history of child abuse or sexual abuse or anything like that you may want to talk about?
No.
None? Okay. How about any legal histories? Have you ever had any legal issues or
Just my divorce.
the divorce?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How was you able to cope when you were going through your divorce?
It was hard. Everything changed.
So that was another change that you had
Mm-hmm.
that was kind of hard and a negative thing for you to go through.
Well, I had to leave my house.
Yeah.
I wasn't with my wife anymore. I had to get a new apartment. I had to look for a new apartment somewhere where somebody else had lived. I wasn't comfortable with that.
Yeah.
But but I found a place and it's okay.
So now you're in a place where you feel comfortable.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, all right. Oh, that's good, Bob. Let's talk a little bit about any substance abuse history. And let's first start off by caffeine. How about your caffeine usage?
Yeah, I drink coffee
Drink
in the
coffee?
mornings.
Just in the mornings?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
If I drink it past the morning, it keeps me up.
Yeah. Okay. How about tobacco?
No.
None at all. Okay.
Never smoked.
How about alcohol?
I did a little bit when I was younger. It was more social than anything else.
Okay. So no problems with that ever
No.
at any point in your life?
No.
Well, good. That's good. How about any illegal drugs like marijuana or cocaine or anything like that? Have you ever tried any of those, done any of those?
No, I'd be afraid it'd explode my heart.
Yeah. Well, that's good. They're not good for you, so that's a good thing for you to feel. So let's talk about a little bit about your childhood. How would you describe your childhood?
It was all right. I had several brothers and sisters.
Okay.
But we didn't move around a lot. You know, we stayed in one place.
Mom and Dad? How were they?
They were good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So did they stay married throughout?
Yeah, they were killed in a car wreck about 15 years ago.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And then they didn't have anybody.
So that was a life-changing experience for you there too, then, huh?
Yeah, then I was on my own.
How'd you deal with that then?
It was hard to deal with because everything was different.
Yeah.
And I didn't have, if I needed to talk to somebody, there wasn't anybody to talk to. You know, I'm just alone. You know, I had my wife and then now I'm just alone.
Okay. Well, so let's talk about alone.
I have a fish.
You have a fish?
Yeah, his name's Gil.
Gil?
Mm-hmm.
Does he keep you company?
Well, he's not much of a talker,
Not much.
but yeah,
So he keeps you company then during the day.
it's another living thing with me.
Well, that's a good thing. Is there any other outside relationships you have other than Gil?
No, well, like I said, I talk to my supervisor at work, but a lot of that's on the phone or FaceTime.
Right. Okay.
Video conference through work, and it's mainly my supervisor. The service that I provide is mainly email responses and things like that, to where I don't have to talk to the customers.
All right. Well, I've got to say, you shared a lot of interesting things that you're dealing with, and as I've noted them here, there are several things that we're going to work on, and we're going to come up with a plan and hopefully set some goals to where you can work on and try to overcome some of these anxiety or anxious feelings you deal with, like you say, on a daily basis. I think maybe we talk, or maybe even refer you to somebody who might talk to you about some of the issues that you've had as far as loss.
I have to go somewhere else.
Well, let's see where we go from here, and maybe there's things that we can do that I can help and get you, feeling better about things. Would that be all right with you?
Yeah, but I feel good with you. I feel comfortable with you.
Well, I'm glad you do. And I'll do all that I can to help. All right. Do you have any other questions for me?
I don't think so. I'm just looking forward to talking again.
Okay.
The day after tomorrow, right?
Day after tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, let's go see when we get done here. What we can do as far as getting you scheduled in soon. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, it was good meeting you, and look forward to working with you. And you take care. Okay.
Thank you. I don't have to shake your hand again, do it? Because we already shook hands once.
No.
Okay.
Can we bump fist?
They do say that's less germs.
All right. You take care, Bob.
Thank you.